Yes.
All right. You want to take the lead on this one since it's mostly your topics of random choice?
Sure, why not?
Okay. Go ahead.
All right. Ready?
No, that's something different. Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
Okay, hold on.
Well,
1 second, Joe.
okay. Oh, you caught me mid-sentence there.
You can just take all the games out of it. Just put them on, put them on the wish list. We'll figure it out later. Okay. Now go ahead.
Okay. Welcome, everyone, to this very special random as hell edition of Coast to Coast. I am coming to you from the West Coast. I am the West Coast Professor Jeff Meacham.
And I am the Pennsylvania sensation Greg Cherry, representing the East Coast, East Side, because, you know.
Well, see, I can't do the West Side thing because then I just sound really white and bad.
You mean like you did for the first one?
Yes, very true. That was a dark.
My wife threw a French fry at me.
What's that?
My wife threw a French fry at me, hit me right in the face.
Hey, you know what? We used to start XMV throwing something at riffs, so it's only appropriate we throw something at somebody.
Yeah, fair enough.
You know.
At least it didn't hit me in the nuts. So
yes, that was the current. That was a common thread with poor Aaron.
Yes. But anyway, like you mentioned, this is a random episode, so our topics of discussion will be all over the place. We don't really have a plan, so just enjoy.
No, we had a grand plan in motion this time last week. We were talking about Roadblock, and it kind of segued into about 20 other topics, and then technology failed us, bit us right in the ass. So we decided, you know what? Let's just let's just give the people some random happenstance conversation and see exactly what unfolds, and hopefully we can lead us into WrestleMania with a positive edition of Coast to Coast.
Power of positivity.
Well, I'm not going that far.
You and your irrational of a new day.
It's not irrational.
It's irrational.
They're baby faces now. You have to cheer for them.
I don't have to do anything until Kofi breaks away once and for all.
The only reason Kofi has a career right now is the New Day.
Well, he would have been fine if he had let him be on his own.
Wow. But hey, congratulations to Kofi for being the longest reigning WWE Tag Team Champion in history.
As far as this
not World Tag Team, but WWE Tag Team.
That's right. Yes, Kofi is now the longest reigning individual to hold the current version of the WWE Tag Team Championship, and that's awesome. And your statement to me in a comment when I posted the WrestleMania 17 poster yesterday that was the last time the tag titles changed hands at Mania will still hold true this year.
Well, we can only hope. I mean, it's the New Day versus the League of Nations. What do you do?
Well, I mean, unless they're going to do a 4-on-3 tag team title match.
I don't see that happening, and here's my thing. I love the New Day. You know that. But I'm going to take these off because I got really bad glare. I love the New Day, but I have this sick feeling that the League of Nations is going to win at Mania. But their reign will only last 1 week.
What's that?
Their reign's only going to last either a night or a month.
Well, I don't think it's going to be for the tag titles, if anything, because I think because they've done several tag bouts already with the two factions involved in 2-on-2 matches. So I think they're going to do just a straight up handicap match, and that way the New Day will still be champions after WrestleMania.
That's very possible.
I don't see why they would take them off it to give it to, you know, as your boys call them, the League of Booty, because they had no momentum right now, zero.
Well, the only reason I could see them taking the tag titles off of the New Day would be for another tag team to come up from NXT and take it from them.
You're thinking Enzo and Cass?
Yes, I am thinking Enzo and Cass.
That would be awesome, because they deserve it. Oh, by the way, this is this is Anaheim Ducks Cup. No, I'm not switching sides. It just happens to be we got this at the Ducks Kings game, and it was cheap, so we brought it home.
Turncoat. No.
No. My Kings are on right now playing Boston as we speak. My son's there watching them.
Ew. Nobody roots for anything from Boston on purpose.
No, definitely not. That's why. Well, the Kings played in Boston a week and a half ago, and they won like 9-2.
Because Boston sucks.
Yeah. Boston got Zdeno Chara, and they've got one of the best goalies in the world, and they still suck balls.
Well, the only good thing that ever came out of Boston was Sasha Banks. That's it.
Well, unless you count Cena about 11 years ago.
There's your answer.
Thank you from the voice from the outside.
Yes.
You're welcome.
All right, but you wanted to talk about something or another. You had topics in mind.
Oh, I had various things. I just wanted to point out something that I have brought up on social media in general. By the way, RVD's in the house, and I just wanted to show that real quick. But there are a couple books that are out. Actually, it's a series of 4 books. I have 2 of them about the 2 different championships represented the NWA Championship between 1973 and 1986, and then 86 until it became the WCW Championship, and that the big gold belt, as we all know, lasted till 2014 in some way or another.
Right.
What I was wondering is why haven't anybody at WWE Books seen those 2 books, seen the book about the various U.S. championships in Mid-Atlantic in like the 70s until the WCW U.S. title belt, which was an awesome belt, but it wasn't an NWA belt, and the Minnesota Wrecking Crew belt. And why hasn't anybody at WWE Books seen that and written a book about this?
That's a good question. Because the Winged Eagle belt, while it wasn't around a long, long time, well, I guess 10 or 11 years.
10 years, yeah.
Because it was right around WrestleMania 4.
It was February 5th. Yeah, February 5th of 88 is what it was funny. Hogan cut a promo backstage in Indianapolis wearing the Hogan 86.
Mm-hmm.
And then walked out to the ring in a completely different bandana, different T-shirt, and different belt. So clearly,
or that was on Botchamania at one point.
Yeah, he either changed clothes really fast in 2 minutes, or that was a pre-taped interview. Just saying.
Gee, I wonder which one it could have been.
You know, and then Austin literally dumped this belt at the feet of Mr. McMahon the night of WrestleMania when he beat Shawn Michaels. And received what would become the Attitude Eagle.
Which I didn't care for that belt as much.
I didn't either. I have one. It's actually holding up the backdrop back here. But
yeah,
I have always been a fan of the Winged Eagle, which I got. It was not my first belt I ever got, but it's my favorite because it was the belt when you and I were growing up watching the WWF. That was the championship belt.
Exactly.
And then a couple years before that, if I can get it without knocking everything all loopy, I got this.
There you go.
And see, I have the Ric Flair nameplate because that's the only nameplate that belongs on that belt.
It's very true. You didn't want to get the David Arquette nameplates.
I thought about that, and then I woke up from my horrible nightmare.
Unfortunately, we live in a world where David Arquette did hold that championship for 2 weeks.
Yeah, and then Vince Russo held the belt for a week.
Yep. Well, hey,
as we're talking about the Winged Eagle
belt, yeah, as we're talking about the Winged Eagle version of that belt, or for the How I Met Your Mother fans out there, the 3-way belt.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lordy.
I mean, that has to be one of my favorite designs as well. Not just because of the nostalgia, but just because it looked like a world championship belt. It looked like something that everybody should strive for. Attitude Era belt, not so much.
Yeah, I think the Attitude Era belt looked like the Winged Eagle took a botch of Vince McMahon steroids. It did, because it was a bigger eagle, it was a bigger globe, it was a bigger everything, and it was a bigger strap overall.
Well, let's see who all had it. It was Austin,
Kane,
then Kane,
Rock,
Austin,
Foley,
Rock, Taker,
Hunter, Undertaker,
Vince,
yes, Angle. Jericho was the last within. Actually, Triple H was last within Undisputed, but Jericho had it. Big Show had it. I have a whole belt display thing on my computer, which if we were on the computer, it'd be awesome.
I think we hit them all.
I think we did too. It was only around for 4 years in full-time use. Because it went from WrestleMania 14 to just after WrestleMania 18.
And then they brought in the Undisputed Championship, which, quite frankly, I thought looked way better.
Yeah, the Undisputed Championship from 2002 until the debut of the Spinner Belt was my second favorite WWF Championship after the Winged Eagle, or WWE, whatever you want to call it. But it was funny. I was going over this on Instagram a few months ago now, I guess it was, and I was my often repeated answer is my favorite belt that I own is the Winged Eagle. That's my favorite belt that I own of the four, because I have the Winged Eagle, the Big Gold Belt, the Attitude Eagle, and the Undisputed version 1. But I look back now at the history. I read. Let me show you once again. I'll plug Dick Bourne's book because it's that freaking good a book. Researched by Dave Milliken, who is a replica belt like God, and interviews with Ric Flair in there. There's an introduction by Bob Caudle. There's a foreword by James J. Dillon. It's a great book. And the history of the Big Gold Belt, with the exception of David Arquette and Vince Russo, is much more wrestling prestigious than the WWF Winged Eagle, if you really think about it. Because you had Hogan, who, his moveset rivals John Cena. You had Andre the Giant, who literally held the belt for about 2 minutes and then surrendered to DiBiase. You could argue that DiBiase did hold that belt because he did walk to the ring as champion.
And defended against Bam Bam Bigelow.
Yes, I made that point to you more than once, and if I ever find video of that footage, the shit's on, man. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'm on your side with DiBiase should have been world champion. So.
And I wish I could get him to retweet or something and really get that groundswell movement happening, but I can't get him to acknowledge it. At DiBiase, you had Savage, who was a great wrestler. He definitely is up there at the wrestling side of that. Warrior, we'll move on. Sergeant Slaughter, at that point, if he was champion, okay, but he was always going to be the guy between Warrior and Hogan.
Yeah.
Always. Undertaker, I think Undertaker's second time with the championship, which was still the Winged Eagle, was his best.
Well, he only held it 6 days the first time.
Yeah, which is horrible. Ric Flair, who held both belts, actually, is also on that Winged Eagle list, and he's awesome. Bret Hart is probably the best technical wrestler to hold the Winged Eagle, and he definitely belongs. And he also held the Big Gold, so there you go.
Yeah.
So he's up there. Bob Backlund held the Winged Eagle for 3 days. And while he was a great technical wrestler in the 70s and 80s, by 1994, he was a spaz. So, you had Diesel, who, while his skill in the ring, national skill in the ring got better as the year went on, he was still the least drawing world champion in history. And that was the Winged Eagle. And that hurt the prestige of the title.
That's why they had to give it back to Bret.
Yeah, exactly. And then Shawn Michaels, of course. Sid, Sid was pretty much a gimme. Like, here, you've been loyal, and you come back to us you came running back after you stabbed Anderson 20 times. Fucking Sid. Who also had the Big Gold, by the way.
Yeah.
And actually, now I think about it, Shawn held the cast replica of the original Big Gold belt that was used late in WCW's run, and then the early World Heavyweight Championship WWE run.
Yes.
Before they added the logo. So he's actually a big goal holder, too, if you really want to split hairs.
Yeah,
Then
technically.
Austin. Stone Cold Steve Austin held the Winged Eagle last. On the big gold side, with the exception of Ron Garvin, who, let's see, Ron Garvin was a WWF jobber at best. And he was NWA World Champion, which shows you how bad Crockett was for a while. And then a gentleman by the name of Hiroshi Hase in Japan, who beat Rick Rude for the WCW International Championship in 94, I want to say. With the aforementioned, Russo and Arquette, it's not a bad list of guys on the big gold list. Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, Ricky Steamboat, Sting, Tatsumi Fujinami, Masahiro Chono, The Great Muta, Barry Windham, Ravishing Rick Rude, Hogan, of course, The Giant, The Big Show, whatever you want to call him, Savage, Lex Luger. Which, again, yes, Lex Luger wasn't the greatest technically sound wrestler in the history of the world, but for those 5 days that he beat the NWO in 1997, he was a god.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that, and I always enjoyed watching the clip. I actually got the clip from No DQ all those years ago, and it was just amazing to see. It's like, yeah, Luger wasn't the most over guy, but he took out the NWO, made Hogan submit, for crying out loud.
Yeah, which never happened until then, really.
Yeah, it didn't happen. It was like him and Angle, the only two that made him submit.
Well, a couple people made him submit WCW when he was Hollywood Hogan, so it's because he was a cowardly heel by then.
Yeah, which Piper should have been one of them for the title.
Well, Piper did beat him. It's just that this actually in the Death of WCW book, Piper wrote his own contract for Circa 96, which makes him the dumbest babyface of the year. Because he had the title won. He beat Hogan with a sleeper. Non-title, I don't want the belt. I just wanted to beat Hogan. And then he got 2 title shots and lost.
It's like take the title, Piper.
Anybody but Hogan right now, please.
It's like, Rocky, what are you doing?
Yeah. End up going to Luger for 5 days and then freaking Sting in the controversy of Starrcade and then the day after.
Yeah.
Yep. Bill Goldberg, Kevin Nash, DDP, who was by the way, three-time WCW champion. Bret Hart, Chris Benoit, who nobody ever seems to remember. He held the original big gold belt, but he did for a day.
Yeah. When he beat Sid, it sold out.
Yeah, but if you watch the footage back, Sid had his foot under the rope when Arn signaled the tap out as guest referee to give WCW an out, and they needed it.
Yeah.
Sid, of course, after that, Jeff Jarrett, Arquette and Russo, Booker T, and Scott Steiner. So not only are there more guys that held the big gold belt because it was in service longer, but I honestly think that list, when you look at overall wrestling ability, and I dare say even drawing power, I think the big gold belt has a little more prestige to it. Maybe that's just me.
Well, I think you're right. As far as the WWE run, do you want to go into that too? Because it might bring the prestige a little bit down. Check Swagger.
Okay, well, yeah, because I actually the big gold belt book only covers it covers the guys that held it when it was the original big gold belt, and then after they cast it and replaced it in 2000 and I want to say 2001, it was Scott Steiner, Booker T, Kurt Angle, Booker T again, The Rock, Chris Jericho, The Rock, and then Jericho became Undisputed Champion.
Yeah.
And then that belt got retired with the Attitude Eagle in 2002. And then in the September 2002, the big gold belt was brought. It was still the cast replica that they made in 2000, in late 2000, and it was Triple H and Shawn Michaels. Mm-hmm. The WWE logoed big gold belt is definitely less prestigious than the other big gold belts.
Yeah.
Because they've let everybody and their mother have that fucking thing.
Well, let's go through the list. Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Triple H again, Goldberg, Triple H again, Benoit, Orton, Triple H, vacated, Triple H, Batista,
Angle,
Mysterio, King Booker.
King Booker.
Batista,
Yes.
Undertaker, Edge,
Khali.
Which
that's
just
right there. That's the end of the discussion. It's over now.
Yep, that's it.
Oh, God.
Batista, Edge,
Undertaker again. Edge again.
Yeah, Taker, Edge.
2008, and then Edge
Punk.
lost it to Punk in a cash-in.
And then Jericho.
Yes.
Batista, Jericho, Cena, Edge, Cena, Edge, Hardy, Punk, Taker, Jericho, Swagger,
Here we go.
Mysterio, Kane, Edge, vacated, Christian.
No, hang on, no. Edge stripped Dolph Edge.
I forgot Dolph. Dolph was champion for 2 minutes.
That's right. Then vacated, then Christian.
Yeah, then Christian, then Orton, then Christian, then Orton, then Mark Henry.
Yeah.
Then Big Show, Daniel Bryan, Sheamus, Big Show, Del Rio, Dolph, Del Rio, Cena, Unified.
Yes. So there are more people when you add up the entire overall, let's see, it's 2014, the 28-year history of the big gold belt we represented in some form or another. There are more champions than the Winged Eagle, but definitely less prestige.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that.
Yeah. So, but the overall design of the belt, I mean, the way, you can't ask for a better debut on TV than have Ric Flair open up one of his fabulous $5,000 robes and go, "This is what it's all about, baby, right here," and point to that big gold belt around his waist.
Yeah.
It wasn't as memorable as the switch from the Fez era NWA belt to the 10 pounds of gold, because there was actually an in-ring ceremony for that one. Like NWA president Sam Mushnick came to the ring with a big old briefcase in hand. Harley came down wearing the Fez era belts, and they did an exchange in the ring. Harley posed with it for a few minutes and lost it to freaking Jack Briscoe right away. After a great 2 out of 3 falls match, but
yeah,
and
I guess it was better than Orton being presented with a belt and then losing it in 15 minutes to Triple H.
Yes, but still nothing is as bad ever as Dean Douglas getting the Intercontinental belt and losing it to Razor Ramon.
Classic.
Poor franchise.
Hey, he was Intercontinental Champion with a crappy gimmick.
Hey, yeah, exactly. But I often wonder, if we talked this briefly earlier today. I wonder if WWE Books should even write a book about the history of the championship, because they wrote a history of the championship, the actual championship. I haven't read that book yet. I would imagine they detail the history of the belts, but I don't know. I've never read it.
I don't know. I don't feel like we should go through the Intercontinental title history because that's a lot longer lineage.
And much more prestigious also.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great champions that have been Intercontinental champion that not necessarily were world champion either.
Yeah.
So,
And there are some duds as Intercontinental champion, some that we want to forget.
Yeah, this is very true also.
Ezekiel Jackson comes to mind.
Yeah, after Wade Barrett, which is a freaking joke.
Now at least Cody Rhodes got it. After him.
Cody got it. Stardust never will.
Stardust will never see a championship again unless he changes gimmicks.
Yeah, we talked about that last time we talked. It's ridiculous. I get, and you mentioned this, I get that the Stardust name is a tribute to Dusty, and that's fine. But Dusty doesn't need his son to be another Goldust.
No.
Cody was doing great on his own, being Cody.
What?
And I dare say that Cody was a better Cody than Dustin was a better Goldust.
I would agree with that.
Goldust now is pretty much an afterthought, and it's living proof because they turned Cody into to help get Dustin over, and now Dustin's freaking doing jobber segments with Ron.
Yeah, and they'll probably lead to a tag team title shot at some point, which won't.
If they win the belts, that's great. Another championship for both Dustin and Ron Killings, and that's awesome. But you know, if they're gonna keep Goldust around and they're gonna keep Cody as Stardust, then let's have Stardust have some sort of weird babyface epiphany and have him go back with his brother. Or have Goldust go completely batshit crazy and turn heel, one or the other.
You know, the thing is, Cody Rhodes was so on fire with Sandow turning on him, and he became this giant babyface. He did the thing with the Authority where him and Goldust faced the Shield, and they were super on fire as tag team champions. And then what happened?
Yeah, and you know, we can't blame the death of Dusty Rhodes because he turned into Stardust before Dusty passed away.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, Dusty had an argument with Stardust on the air.
Yeah, he did.
So, you know, it's just, I don't know. I haven't been a fan of the Stardust character at all. I know some people that are way into it and really like it a lot, but for me, you know, I would rather, you know, it's very much a representation of the overall WWE picture, and that I cannot get into current programming. I can't get into the Stardust character. I can't get into what I watch every week on Raw. I have not watched SmackDown itself in at least a month.
It's been longer than that for us.
Like 2
Yeah,
weeks.
because for me, SmackDown does zero storyline advancement.
They don't. They're just a wrestling show, which is funny because we enjoy wrestling, but it's like
NXT has a better program in an hour than Raw and SmackDown in 4 hours combined.
5
sorry.
actually.
5 hours.
Yeah, it should be 4.
I literally get upset when I miss NXT. I it's so funny. I don't know if I told you. I don't know if I said this last time we tried to record. I literally turned on Raw for Dylan and I to watch 2 weeks ago. I got through the opening segment with Shane and Vince bickering back and forth at the top of the show, and I literally handed Dylan the remote, came in here, and watched my Lady Antebellum DVD that I got for my birthday.
Nice.
It just was not even worth it to sit through 3 hours of even with less commercials, even no commercials on DVR, 2 hours of that garbage. It wasn't worth it.
You only have to do it with an hour and a half.
Well, the thing with Hulu is, you know, that costs money, and I've already got, you know, 25 or 22 between WWE and NXT and Netflix already invested.
True.
And Netflix is freaking awesome because you get Fuller House, which is a great show. I don't care if people like Full House or not. Fuller House is awesome. And I get to watch Pee Wee.
We're 3 episodes into Fuller House, and we quite enjoy it. So
yeah, I'm 3 in also. I've liked every episode so far, and it debuted yesterday as of the taping today. But I haven't watched the new Pee Wee movie yet, but I intend to.
Now, I know you're not a fan of Lucha Underground, but I heard talks that it was coming to either Netflix or Hulu. I can't remember.
And you know what? If they go to Netflix, I'll give it another chance because that way I can watch it. I don't have to DVR, take up my dad's DVR space on the big screen TV. I can just watch whenever I want to watch it.
That'd be good. And
you
get to watch one of your favorites, Jack Evans.
Oh, you mean the Godfather that never calls his godson? That guy?
That I was not aware of. So
that's okay. You didn't know. It's okay. Yeah, we named.
I'm not over in California. I don't know this stuff.
I know you don't. No, we Jade named Jack Godfather, along with a few other people that we still don't talk to either. And Jack saw him once. We brought him out to Gorilla when my dad dropped myself and Jade off for the night at PWG while Dad took Dylan back home to here Santa Clarita. And Jack came out to the car. Dylan was sleeping, of course. So Jack came out to the car, saw his godson, went in, wrestled for the night, and then left. And I've not heard from him since.
Unreal.
And Dylan was a small baby.
So that was years ago.
It's almost been 8 years since I've heard anything from Jack. And I'm not trying to put him on blast in front of the YouTube world right now. I'm just stating fact. It sucks. Because I know he's a caring enough guy to know that if he was less busy with everything else going on in his life right now, which is he's got a great career going for himself, I know he'd make the time for Dylan. It's just a fact of life that life gets in the way sometimes. You know, we have one godparent that actually still calls and asks after Dylan on a regular basis out of the 4 we named.
We should get on to happier subjects.
Yes, now that we totally went into the darkness here.
Jen suggested pandas.
What's that?
Jen suggested pandas. I'm sure we can work that into wrestling somehow.
Well, considering the panda people, what we call the WWF, yeah, you know. Well, no.
TNA's owned by Panda Energy. There we go.
There you go. There it is. Greg wins. Greg wins. Your prize is a visit from Jeff Meacham in January.
Woohoo!
There you go. Although you're paying for that prize, so it's really much of a prize. I mean, really. You know.
Well, we can try and win the lottery before then.
There you go. There you go. But yeah, we did kind of touch on Roadblock last time we tried to tape, and what a useless 2.5 hours that was, huh?
Yeah, if I wanted to watch a house show on, I would have just gone to any live event around here.
Yeah, we saw live event at the Fabulous Forum out here back in December. That was way better than this, or January, whatever it was.
I went to a house show, not this past December, but the December before, where Bray Wyatt and Dean Ambrose main evented in a street fight, and that was pretty good.
Oh wow! Well, there you go. Yeah, it was one of those shows where they needed something to fill network time because they needed to really hype Mania. Yeah, let's do this. And it bit them in the butt because not one thing turned out differently than what we expected it to.
No. I mean, it was probably the most predictable show of all time.
Yeah, it really was. There was no way, as Harley Race would say, on God's green earth, that Triple H is going to lose the world title 2.5 weeks before Mania. There was no way.
You know, WWE needed to take a page out of UFC's playbook because with Holly Holm losing her title to Aisha Tate, it kind of took some drama out of the Holm Rousey rematch.
It did.
So it's like, no, things can change on a whim here. It's like wrestling's a work, but for crying out loud, let us believe that stuff can change.
Well, we all know now that it's going to be Ronda fighting Misha Tate because Holly couldn't last more than one fight as champion.
Yeah.
So Holly, got herself all worked up for Ronda, didn't realize, oh wait, there's life beyond Ronda Rousey, and it literally almost killed her because Misha just stretched her out like a pretzel.
Mm-hmm.
But I would have liked to seen something change, and even whether it be New Day get a surprise upset against whoever they were facing. I forget who they face now.
But the Nations.
Yeah, just something different happening. But the whole show was just, I literally could not wait to turn on the hockey game because it was like,
I don't know why you just didn't.
Well, because I wanted to try to get WWE a chance, but the more we walked on, it's like, we had this to record, and we had the game on. I wanted to get through Roadblock and give the WWE the benefit of that, and I should have known better. Like I always should have known better.
If it makes you feel any better, I played cards the entire time Roadblock was on.
Wow.
So, it was much more enjoyable because it's like, ooh, I get some excitement here. What's going on with the Roadblock? Same old, same old.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the plan right now is for Aaron and Dylan and I to go to Wade Needham's house for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And then stay out that way overnight going to Dylan's birthday. I'm hoping that there's more to do than just snack on the massive junk food we bring and watch the show. I hope there's like Cards Against Humanity or something.
Cards Against Humanity is a good time. We actually have that for when you're over here.
Awesome. Yeah, we first found out about that toward, let's see. Wasn't when XMV was still on. I know that. I think it was toward the end of 2009, I think was when we discovered it, because I played it at New Year's at Aaron's house.
I didn't realize this one.
The game was awesome.
Jeez, we found out about it a couple years ago at a New Year's party ourselves.
New Year seems to be the theme.
It must be. I mean, that's when there's big get-togethers and whatnot.
Exactly. Well, there's that to play. There's so many other things. I mean, because literally, Aaron said he wants to leave. He wants to get to Wade's or leave here, whatever it was, about 11 a.m. Because you got to figure it's an all-day pre-show.
Yeah, that's true.
Do I really want to spend literally the entire? Because if you asked Jeff Meacham this question a year ago, do you want to spend all day watching wrestling? Absolutely. But now I'm like, not if it's WWE, not all day.
No, it's like I love my fellow Pittsburgh. I can't speak. My fellow Pittsburgher Corey Graves, but it's like I trained with you, Sterling, but I don't know.
Yeah. Corey's one of the few shining lights of those pre-shows.
He is. And, watching NXT, he is absolutely hilarious on commentary. He reminds me, he is the closest thing Heenan that I can think of.
Yeah, definitely. He is one of those guys where he owns the part.
He does. I mean, for crying out loud, if he can put Eva Marie over and make it sound legitimate,
yes,
he's gold.
Yeah, I still don't buy the whole Eva Marie being over in the first place. I don't. I get that she's a pretty girl, and that's great, but I don't think any amount of training with Brian Kendrick's going to save her from her ultimate reality.
I mean, she's better than she was.
But that's not saying much.
I mean, I'm better than she was, and I worked 2 matches in my entire wrestling career.
I think I'm better than she was. I was a manager my entire career. A fat, out of shape manager at that.
Well, if you consider my 2 matches were a put-together Royal Rumble and an impromptu tag team match where I bumped 4 times, and then took the fall.
Yeah, it's still better than even Marie's entire career.
Yep. Where's my title shot? I don't see me getting a shot. It's like
Their logic on that whole thing though is, she gets heat, so it keeps people watching. No, it actually just pisses people off because you're giving.
She gets X-Pac heat.
I was just gonna say the same thing. She gets the Sean Waltman heat, which is dreaded.
It's not the heat that people don't like you because you're a bad guy. People don't like you because they don't want to see you on their TV. It's like get away.
It's like Eva Marie was such a parody of herself that there was a pose. I don't know if you were on the NerdQ forums at that time or not, Greg. There was a pose she did in a red outfit, and the way her outfit crossed her chest looked like the O in Ring of Honor. So Aaron or whoever it was put the ROH logo across her chest.
I did not see that, no.
I was like, that may be the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. Because she's so not even close to what Ring of Honor is.
No, not even close.
Ring of Honor is still, even though I don't see it anymore, it's still the best thing out there besides NXT. It just sucks we don't get the channel anymore.
Yeah. Well, they changed channels.
Yeah, well, they were on the same channel as Impact, Destination America for a while, and then they moved to a station called Comet, I guess. Never even heard of it, but apparently if you have the kind of TV that gets like the different satellite versions of the station, like KDOC channel 56.4 or something, you can get Ring of Honor.
Yeah,
I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna make the effort. I'll just watch it online if I can.
They used to, or maybe it was just like parts of matches. They used to have it streaming online, but I don't know why.
Somebody told me they have the full show online now every week, but it's like a week behind.
Well, yeah, I mean, you figure you have to have that the way. That's with most TV shows now.
Right. I don't mind watching a week late as long as I get to watch quality wrestling. Because God, we're not getting it every Monday and Thursday. That's for sure.
Yeah, at least we're getting it every Wednesday.
Yes, Wednesday's beautiful. I had a loyal what do they call him? No DQ TNA Soja tell me that I should give Impact another chance. I'm going. I did. They made Matt Hardy the world champion on purpose.
Well, he's not champion anymore. Oh, spoilers. Oops, sorry.
That's all right. That's okay. Even still, even with Drew Galloway as champion, I like Drew, but he's not the answer to the problem.
I think the answer to the problem is going all WCW, and it's like just let Vince buy you out.
Yep.
So just stop the pain.
That's a solution because their product is kind of crappy now too.
Yeah, I mean, it's really telling. I saw this right before we went to tape this. Bobby Roode and Eric Young are leaving as of tonight's tapings.
I did see that.
Tonight's our last night.
I bet that makes James Storm feel like an idiot.
Right?
Because he went back, started the thing with your mind's leaving. It's like, James.
Hey, you know what? But Storm always said the door was open with Hunter, so he can always go back.
That'd be good. Reform Beer Money in NXT. That'd be awesome.
Beer Money against Enzo and Cass. Let me sit on that for a minute.
Beer Money versus Revival.
Oh, man.
Can you imagine?
I think it is paid a little.
War. Oh, my goodness.
Yes, that would be tremendous, as I always say on What's that?
Beer Money versus American Alpha.
Oh, man. See, we're already pre-booking shit. It's not even happening yet.
We're wrestling fans. We always pre-book shit.
It's true. But it would be nice to see Beer Money, even Eric Young. If Eric Young would just get rid of the Jeff Meacham beard, it'd be awesome.
The Daniel Bryan beard? Because...
No. Well, no, because his is redder, so it's Jeff Meacham beard.
Oh, fair enough. So your LA Kings playoff beard.
Yes, 2012 beard. Hey,
classic.
I had a guy on the team that year who had a bushier beard than me. Tell me that my beard was pretty effing awesome. So
there you go.
You know, because I did a side by side. I had a picture of me outside the arena with the Stanley Cup, the little Stanley Cup, and then him holding the cup up. People were like, "Wow, your beard's worse than his." I'm like, "Yes, it is." It took me 45 minutes the next morning to get rid of that damn thing over 3 different kinds of cutting.
I did a playoff beard one time when the Steelers last went to the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And that thing was so effing itchy, I could not wait to shave it off my face.
Yeah, I mean, literally, I started growing mine just before the playoffs started, so I kind of cheated a little bit that year. But literally, I had to take scissors to cut the outer layers off. And then a electric shaver to get the most of it off, and then a straight blade with shaving cream to get the really fine stuff off. It literally took me almost an hour.
I can believe that.
It was bad. It was one of those things where, thank God we had a big enough bowl so we had to clog the drain up with it.
Jeez.
Well, actually, no, that was JJ's. Mine actually kept. It's here somewhere. It probably smells all kinds of funny now, but I still have that playoff beard in a little bucket here somewhere.
That's not weird.
That's gross.
It is gross, but you know what? It was one of those things where it worked. We got the cup, and I wouldn't trade that experience for the world because it was part of something. I'm hoping I get to grow it out again in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I guess NHL playoffs are starting soon.
Yep, Kings are in first place in the Pacific right now. We are highly favored to take 3 out of 5 again.
Hey, there you go. Penguins are on a hot streak too.
Penguins are playing really well. Sid's starting to come back into his own again.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, well, somebody's got to take the East away from the Washington Capitals.
Well, if there's any team to do it, it'll be the Penguins.
Well, Washington's already in the playoffs. They clinched a few days ago because they're playing that freaking well.
Well, you can play in the regular season well, but it's how you play in the playoffs that matters.
And the last time the Kings went to the playoffs, they had to play 26 games to win the Stanley Cup. So
it's insane.
Three 7-game rounds and then a 5-game final against the Sharks, the Ducks, and the Hawks. So that's a pretty nasty way to the cup.
Man, if the Penguins and the Kings make the Stanley Cup Finals, we might not be able to sleep depending on the result.
Yeah, we'll have to do a coast to coast at 2 a.m. my time.
Yeah, 5 a.m. over here, I don't think so.
Kings just won the cup. Dad just got home. We're all partying. Wake up, Greg. Wake up.
Meanwhile, I'll be in bed and be like, I don't have cable.
Cable, leave me alone. Yeah, right. Yeah. That's
so,
okay.
hey, you want to sit through 3-hour Raws when you're over here. We can watch it on Hulu and be good.
That works for me. We can always watch the network stuff while I'm there.
Fair enough. But hey, I got nothing else for this episode. I think we're just rambling now.
We are rambling. That's okay. That's all right. Let's go and wrap it up then before it gets too late for you.
Yeah, well, it's already late for me, but who cares? So, just random stuff to plug. My Sarcastic Commentary channel. Find it on YouTube. I review backyard wrestling and make fun of it incessantly because it sucks. Starting a new project on that channel, so check that out. I don't know if Jeff's seen it yet, but if you search Daily Motion, there is a 50 wrestling entrances video that I have put up, doing various entrances from WWE, WCW, NXT. So check that out if you can find it. If not, just tweet me at PA Sensation, and I'll help you find it. I
highly advise you to wear a diaper when you watch this thing, because you will pee your pants laughing.
Okay.
Just saying.
But if you got nothing else, I'm good.
Well, no. As always, you can catch me on NoDQ.com here if we're on NoDQ tonight, hopefully. NoDQCW on YouTube. Talk Wrestling's on there every week. Aaron and I will be doing a prediction show. We'll be filming the 29th, probably go up either the 20th or the 30th, and then we'll be at Wade Needham's house for post-WrestleMania shenanigans on YouTube. So be on the lookout. That's it.
All right. I'm not even going to bother with an intro for this one because it's completely random. So
that's right.
Yeah, this has been Coast to Coast. I'm Greg Cherry. He's Jeff Meacham, and we will see you next time. I don't know. That's all I got.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, that's all right.
Sweet. All right.
Sweetness. All right, man. Have a good night, you guys.
All right. You too.
Bye.
Bye.